So, when we talk of lubricants in a GR Yaris, we are talking of the engine, the gearbox, the transfer box, the rear differential, and the brake system. So, let's start with the engine. As stock, the GR Yaris is using this Toyota 0W20 oil that I was shocked to understand is the same oil they use on the hybrid Yaris that has got a completely different engine. And this is real mainly for Europe, while the first equipment is the same. For example, in Japan it is possible to buy specific oil versions that are more performing. So let's say that you've had your car for 5,000 kilometers and you go and smell this oil by raising the oil test tube, and you will see that it smells really bad. It looks black and is by no means a fresh oil in your car. Why is that? It's because this is a specific small film, low resistance oil that basically is made to reduce emissions to the maximum, but not to protect the engine to the maximum. So if you're driving your car very hard, or if you're even modifying it, therefore you're asking even more performance from the car, my suggestion is to switch. First of all, oil viscosity. So it is proven now that on these cars you can use 5W40 or even 5W30. That would be, for me, the best choice. Personally, I have gone with motul for all my lubricants, but there is no link between me and motul, and I pay my products in full. So for the engine you have two main options. The first is this one, 8100 eco-lite. This is AP6 service SP oil, sorry for that, and this is what you have to look at. Any of the other main producers, including Castrol, Liquimoli and what have you, are gonna be fine. But what you want to look for is 5W30, and you want the AP service SP version, because the SP or others are absolutely different oils, different certificates. This is how it works for Japanese engines. Therefore, what did I find by using this oil till now? And this has been more than 6 months. I found that the car actually loads up better. Therefore, I found a difference in the way that the car loads up. That means when it comes into spool through the turbo, because a bit more viscosity gives the car a better engine load. And since these engines are very much ECU controlled, they sense a bit more load, and therefore it helps the valve train to pull up quicker, and therefore the turbo to spool. Not much, but just a bit quicker. For me, I do the same road to come back home every day, where there are some, let's say, hairpin bends that sometimes I take in second gear, and I can really feel the difference in coming out of those curves with the push out of it. So this is the engine. And obviously, lastly, with this oil, you can do about 5,000 kilometers, no problems. You can also, with no problems, go to 10,000 kilometers on this oil. The reason for which I decided not to use the 300V version is that in that case, for what I collected, it will not be good to go over 5,000 kilometers tops, let's say. And even there, I spoke with the actual motul engineer, lead engineer for Italy, and even for him the topic was quite controversial, so I would not want to put myself in that condition, let's say. Okay, let's move on to the gearbox. So, the gearbox is got for us basic Toyota oil that I found worked very well, once again, in normal situations, but was always giving me a lot of problems in the tough, fast driving conditions. We all know about the GR Yaris's gearbox issues that are not as much related to the gearbox itself, because it's not like it's breaking down on us, but the fact of these misshifts that are basically a system problem. So you can carry out a series of operations to mitigate this problem that will probably fix it for you. And one of the things you have to think of coming from there with this objective is to understand that this gearbox and its oil include within a torsion differential. So these are many gears that transfer, as you know perfectly, the torque from the gearbox towards the wheel, splitting it depending on the condition. So what does this mean? Not only the gearbox itself heats the oil up, but this torsion differential grinds the oil even more with these planetary gears it has inside, and therefore your oil goes to a very, very thin solution when you're pushing it to the maximum, especially on track or with sticky tires or both. So after speaking with Motus engineers, that once again I am not sponsored by them, so whatever brand will do, but the concept is I switched all the way up to Motul Gear 300, and this is in the 75-90 specification. So there are other options even from this brand, and a newer oil that is slightly less heavy, it's like 75-80, that may help a bit more in the maneuverability of the gearbox, because I must say there has been a slight increase in stiffness of the lever, especially with the short shifter like I have. But since I installed this oil, I have had many less episodes, and this has been running now for about 8,000 kilometers, no issues, and much better, also on the track. And this is for the matter of the gearbox. Then we have our transfer case, and our transfer case is the LX oil from Toyota once more, and the transfer case in my dealings is gonna be again the same in this case the same Gear 300. Sorry, I got so much oil here. The Gear 300. And I want you to know that the transfer case is probably the most vulnerable point of the GR. So in the Italian single brand rally championship, they actually did a modification within the transfer case, where basically they've machined it internally in order to give more oil to the main bearing, the one that goes towards the propeller shaft, because they've had many failures there. But I'm sure that in the future new solutions will come through for the transfer case. I know that Lamspeed has made a billet one, but it's not clear if it's got increased capacity of oil, because this whole transfer is carrying like 0.4 liters of oil. That's nothing. So really you need to just change this oil as quick as possibly, say every 10,000 kilometers tops if you're not racing the car too much, otherwise 5,000. And regarding the rear differential that like everybody is talking about, because there is a potential issue of overheating, and this is why the traction control module pulls back and puts you in front wheel drive mode. For this, again, I have never experienced this problem, and you know that I do push the car very far. Yeah, I never put full slicks on it or very wide tires, but for me it's not been an issue till today. And still, I did find improvements in switching this oil, because I already switched twice, and I am using the Gear 300 LS oil. Once again, this is not about motul, this is about finding the kind of oil weight and the kind of product you can compare from any other brand. On this world, excuse me, I would like to come back for a moment to the engine oil. The engine oil, we were saying, 0-20 from Toyota, 530 is my suggestion. I know out there are companies like the English, I think it's Miller's, that tell you, yeah, we have a 0-20 ester whatever oil that is going really well, and I know also other YouTubers and Philippe Rothelli are you know, pushing this oil, but Piotr, that I will put a link just here for, that is an engineer that analyzes oils that I've been speaking to before making this video and to make my own choices in the months, that I thank very much. I recommend you visit his page, has told me that there is no way, whatever the additive in the oil, that you can get a proper protection out of a 0W20 oil. So really, mind this, bear this in mind, because it's going to make a difference. And last and not least, we've got brake and clutch system oil, because as you know already from the previous videos or from yourselves, this obviously is shared. So I went and I picked the RBF 660. This is an oil I've been using for many years in many various cars. Braking for me is the most important part. I've always run crazy big brakes and spent a lot of money on brakes and brake pads of the best brands, because without brakes there is no fast driving, there is no safety, there is no nothing. And I must say that the 660 works very well for me. Once again, I've used in the past when I was sponsored from Liqui, for example, also their racing version of their brake fluid. That was good, no issues with that too. And the main difference is, provided that you do wash your system very well, and that means that you're cleaning it like completely twice, so you're using about 1.5 liters of this product for the first time and then just normal bleeding for the following ones, you will have a completely different pedal feel. And this, in any condition, at any speed, at any brake heat, you will have a mostly rock solid pedal. There is also, you know, a component of this that is due to what kind of brake pad you have, that also has an impact on the pedal feel, but still, I would want to do these changes immediately. And for who is living in Europe, I must tell you that since Toyota acknowledged, after me and many others asking them very much to give us better oils on our vehicles that are special and they're not just a hybrid, a basic hybrid, let's say, because nowadays there's everything on that, but they said, okay, so from now on in, you can purchase your own oil, book your service at Toyota in a way to maintain your warranty, and we will change the oils with your own provided oil, given that they have the specifications that are required by Toyota. So I say that this is a win-win situation. In my case, it helped my car very much, and it's running very smoothly with all the power, with all the hard driving, everything I do, as you know perfectly. And I feel that especially on the transmission side, the car has improved very, very much indeed. So I hope this was helpful, and guys, please remember to like this video and to subscribe, and I'm gonna see you very, very soon. Bye now. Cheers.